What's buzzing in the tech world? Get ready for a rapid-fire update as we dive into the hottest stories. First up, Adobe's AI struggles are causing a stir on Wall Street, with investors questioning their strategy. Then, we've got a major comeback story, as Adobe's AI investments finally start paying off, boosting their stock. But that's not all. Opendoor is making big moves with a new CEO and board shakeup, while Tesla's Model Y orders are through the roof, creating supply shortages. Finally, we'll break down the closing bell movers that everyone's talking about. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Adobe's AI identity crisis, stock slide amidst fierce competition. Investors are closely watching Adobe Inc, as its latest earnings release highlights a persistent struggle to keep pace in the artificial intelligence revolution, a stark contrast to rivals like Oracle Corp. While analysts project nearly 10% revenue growth, this marks Adobe's slowest expansion in over a decade, with further deceleration anticipated through fiscal 2028. The core challenge stems from the rapid advancement of AI tools that directly threaten Adobe's foundational creative software business. Emerging applications that generate images from text prompts pose a significant threat to stalwarts like Photoshop. Despite Adobe's introduction of its own AI-powered products, investor confidence remains shaky, with concerns that these offerings may not be enough to counter the long-term disruption. AI image generation that replaces stock photography and traditional editing tools is already disrupting the industry, notes Brian Barbetta, co-leader of Wellington Management's technology team, observing that AI firms' rapid growth seems to come at the expense of established players. Adobe's stock has reflected this unease, tumbling over 20% this year and nearly 40% from its late 2023 peak, significantly underperforming the broader software sector. Analysts express mixed views, with some, like Adam Crisafulli, founder of Vital Knowledge, labeling Adobe as facing some of the most existential risk from AI of any major software company. Others, however, see potential for adaptation, citing Snowflake Inc. as an example of a company that successfully integrated AI. Morgan Stanley's Keith Weiss suggests Adobe could follow a similar path, urging a closer look at incumbents with strong innovation potential. Will Adobe's AI strategy reignite its growth trajectory? Next, we'll explore how Adobe's AI investments are actually starting to pay off, defying earlier skepticism. Adobe's AI pivot, from laggard to leader, stock soars on strong Q3 results. Adobe Inc.'s stock is on the rise following a third-quarter financial report that not only surpassed Wall Street's expectations, but also showcased the tangible benefits of its artificial intelligence investments. This positive turn suggests the company's strategic pivot towards AI is beginning to yield significant results. The company announced earnings per share of $5.31, exceeding the Street's target of $5.18, and reported revenue growth of 11% to $5.99 billion, beating the analyst consensus of $5.91 billion. This financial performance, coupled with a robust outlook for the current quarter, signals a potential shift in market perception. Adobe CEO Shantanu Narayan highlighted the success of its AI initiatives, stating that annual recurring revenue from AI products has surpassed $5 billion, with first ARR exceeding its target by the end of the year. Narayan emphasized Adobe's leadership in AI creative applications, fueled by its generative AI model, Firefly, which enhances features in Photoshop and other core products. This progress comes despite earlier anxieties from analysts like Brian Schwartz of Oppenheimer, who called for greater monetization from AI efforts and increased competition from AI-native startups. Analysts like Angelo Zeno of Kraft and Capital view Adobe's AI monetization as progressing ahead of expectations, supporting increased platform usage and driving revenue acceleration. The company also raised its full-year revenue forecast, signaling strong confidence in its ongoing performance. But is this a sustained comeback or a temporary reprieve? Next, we'll shift gears to look at significant leadership changes and market dynamics impacting Opendoor, Tesla, and Rezolve AI. Opendoor rockets 79% on CEO change. Tesla, Supermicro, Rezolve AI also shine. In a day marked by broad market gains, Opendoor Technologies Inc. experienced a meteoric rise, surging nearly 80% following a significant leadership overhaul. This surge highlights a renewed investor confidence driven by strategic personnel changes and a positive market outlook. The real estate company's stock closed at $10.52, with an intraday high of $10.70, after announcing Kaz Najatian as its new CEO. The return of co-founders Keith Rabois and Eric Wu to the board, with Rabois assuming the role of chairman, signals a strong commitment to revitalizing the company's strategic direction. This news propelled Opendoor to the top of investors' watchlists. Elsewhere, Supermicro Computer Inc. saw a modest uptick, rising 0.09% to $43.95, after announcing the shipment of its NVIDIA Blackwell Ultra solutions, indicating continued momentum in the high-performance computing sector. Tesla Inc. climbed 6.04% to $368.81, driven by exceptionally high demand for its Model Y in China, which has led to supply shortages extending into November. Rezolve AI also surged 8.64% to $6.79, following the launch of its new visual search tool and a highlighted valuation gap compared to its peers. Microsoft Sphere's Edge stock rankings place Opendoor stock in the 98th percentile for momentum, underscoring the significant investor attention it has garnered. The market's positive reaction to these individual company performances reflects a broader trend of investors flocking to riskier assets amid expectations of interest rate cuts. These individual stock stories are making waves, but what's happening as the trading day winds down? We'll wrap up with a look at the closing bell movers and the stories shaping the market's final hours. Market wrap: Adobe fuels gains as Wall Street eyes Fed decisions. As the trading day concluded, U.S. equity markets showed resilience, with futures trading flat after major indices hit fresh record highs. The closing bell saw Adobe Inc. notably climb over 2% following its strong third-quarter earnings beat and raised guidance, reflecting a positive investor response to its AI-driven performance. Despite elevated consumer price index data earlier in the week, market sentiment was buoyed by concerning employment figures, specifically weekly jobless claims exceeding 250,000 for the first time this year. This has intensified expectations for Federal Reserve interest rate cuts, pushing U.S. Treasury yields lower across the curve. While materials stocks outperformed on the S&P 500, energy was the weakest sector. Commodities saw WTI crude oil pair its overnight gains, settling around $62 per barrel, while gold and silver consolidated recent advances, trading just above $3,670 and $42 per ounce, respectively. The market's focus remains keenly on the Fed's upcoming decisions and their potential impact on economic stability and investment strategies. That's a wrap on today's market action. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lightning round recap of all the top stories and your full call to action coming right up. And that's a wrap on today's Market Pulse. We saw Adobe navigate AI challenges and then surge on positive earnings, Opendoor make a massive comeback with leadership changes, Tesla battle Model Y supply demands, and Supermicro push NVIDIA Blackwell solutions. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Microsoft Sphere for more in-depth market analysis, ring that notification bell so you never miss an update, and drop your comments below to join the conversation. Follow us on all social platforms for real-time insights,